Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and today I'm excited to say that it looks like DICE is going to be making some changes to Battlefield 1 based off player feedback during the beta. The one that I'm looking forward to the most is that they're going to be changing the way that Conquest works. One of the biggest critiques that players had during the beta was that kills didn't really seem to matter as much compared to past Battlefield games. Now, of course, kills mattered because you needed to kill people that were on the objective so that you could either defend it for your team or take it for your side, but in the grand scheme of things, especially when compared to past Battlefield games, your kills or deaths didn't really mean as much. The result of this is that certain aspects of the game felt a little underwhelming in the grand scheme of your team winning. If you were flying around in a plane, for example, you didn't really have much of an impact on the progression of the match. Sure, you might be getting a lot of kills, you might take out an infantry player here and there, you might get lucky and take out a tank, but in the grand scheme of things, if you are not down on the ground taking and capturing and defending objectives, you're not really helping your team win that match. That apparently is going to be changing when the game goes live. Now, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting a return of the old Conquest system like a lot of people have been hoping for, but this does seem like a fair compromise. From the article, and it is a very brief description, they don't really go into the specifics on how they're going to be changing Conquest, but it sounds like they're going to have a similar system to what they had during the beta, where you want to hold on to more objectives, and the more objectives you hold, the faster your team gets points to win the match, but also your kills are now going to count to the scoreboard. So if you go on a massive kill streak where you kill 100 people all by your lonesome and you don't die a single time, you're going to probably have a massive impact on your team winning that round. And so all in all, I'm happy with this compromise. I would have preferred the old Conquest system, and who knows, maybe we will get the old Conquest system, but even if we don't, I like the fact that kills have a little bit more impact on the match because it allows for certain vehicles, it allows for certain playstyles to have more of a presence in Battlefield 1, and I do think that that is a good thing. Another change that I think people are going to be excited about is that the support class is going to have some way of dealing with vehicles. Now, remember a couple of days ago when we talked about how the medic had only a 10% play rate in Battlefield 1? Well, apparently that was a typo, and that was actually the support class, which makes a hell of a lot more sense. I love playing as the medic. I saw a fair amount of medics running around in the Battlefield 1 beta, but I didn't see a whole lot of support players, and so that is more in line with the gameplay that I experienced. I think the reason why they had such a low pick rate, because let's be honest, 10% is abysmal. Like, that's terrible class balance, and DICE needs to do something to improve upon that, is a two-part problem. The main reason is that the weapons felt a little lackluster compared to the other classes. Don't get me wrong, they were fun to use, they were really enjoyable, but when you got into a standoff with someone who was of equal skill, equal accuracy, it just seemed like the light machine guns were having a hard time coming out of firefights alive. The second reason being is that their gadgets felt pretty lackluster. Sure, it's nice giving your teammates ammo or getting a cheeky trip mine kill, but let's be honest, those are nowhere near as powerful as reviving, giving health, or doing an insane amount of damage to vehicles. That's going to be changing when we get our hands on the main game. If I had to take a guess, it's probably going to be the mortar system that we saw a couple of months ago during the trailer reveal. I could be wrong because, once again, DICE is being very vague of how they're going to be improving the game or what they're going to be adding on in to make these changes, but if I had to take a guess, it is going to be the mortars. Hopefully, this is going to be the necessary change to improve their pick rate because, let's be honest, 10% is abysmal. DICE needs to do something about this before the game goes live, but if those mortar systems are added on in and they're at least halfway decent against vehicles, I have a suspicion that that is going to go a long way at improving their pick rates. The last thing that we learned from this article is that not only are light tanks going to be getting nerfed, which we've known about for a while, this isn't necessarily new, but also horses are going to be getting toned down and they're not going to have as much health. Now, when I first read this, I assumed they were talking about the elite cavalry rider, but no, it actually sounds like the horses were too good and I guess they just had too much health and staying power. Now, this kind of surprised me because I loved horses, and maybe this is why it surprised me, because I felt like when I was riding around on them, they were reasonably well balanced. I mean, sure, if you were the elite cavalry unit class, you might have been a little bit too good, but if you were just some random schmuck who ran up to a horse and then started running around, I definitely didn't feel like they were overpowered, but I guess DICE felt like they were just too good. And so what it sounds like is that the health of the horse is going to be reduced, but my hope is that they're not going to reduce it too much. I love riding around on these things, and I think it would be a shame if horses weren't a viable option of not only getting from point A to point B, but also to have that very unique gameplay. It would suck as if everyone could just ruin a horse no problem, and they wouldn't have to shoot at the person on top. Only time will tell, of course, but I'm hoping that DICE doesn't push things too far. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Give me your thoughts on what we discussed. Do you like the fact that kills are going to be mattering a little bit more in Conquest? Are you a little disappointed that horses are going to be getting nerfed? Let me know down below. But yeah, guys, until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.